Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about on this edition of The Breakdown. Phil Perry, Ted Johnson is here. Ted, we all said if the Patriots could come away from this West Coast trip 2-0, they'd have a real shot at making the postseason. Well, they're not completely dead after losing yesterday out in Vegas. But what say you? What are their chances of making the playoffs?
It's going to be tough, Phil. I mean, clearly they're still there. I mean, with 3 games to go, they're at 7 wins. I think it's going to probably make it, kick it in maybe with 9 wins. But let's face it, right now the morale is as low as it's been probably all season. If you come back with the 2-game win streak, and then you style points, you go out there and you look good on offense, you come back totally different mindset. These guys are deflated right now in the offense, and Mac Jones in particular looked as bad as they have all season.
They have a really difficult schedule coming up, too, with Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo. The website 538.com, they have the Patriots' postseason chances at just 19% right now. So normally, at this point in the show, we'd be going to break down one of the craziest plays we've ever seen, but not a whole lot schematically to break down on this one, that final play yesterday, other than, yeah, you see it right there. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Jakobi Meyers, he talked about his mistake after the game.
Nah, just trying to do too much. Trying to be a hero, I guess you could call it, kind of. I ain't see the dude back there try throwing the ball. Like I said, I was just doing too much, you know what I'm saying? Should have just went down with the ball.
I mean, the play started off with me with the ball, so if I didn't pitch it back to him, Jakobi wouldn't have the chance to do that. So, I take full responsibility for the play, and, I just got another situation, I just got to know what's going on in the game, man.
It ain't even about Ramondre, you know what I'm saying? Once you give it to me, I'm smart enough to know the score was tied and to go down with it, you know what I'm saying? So, whether he gave me the ball or not, I mean, he gave it to me because he trusted me, so I just got to be smarter with it.
Yeah, I got to tackle the guy, and it's on me, and it's my fault. So if we tackle him, or I tackle him, then we play for overtime. So it's on me. Got to make that not good enough by me. So.
A lot of players, Ted, taking blame after that final just wild sequence at the end of the game. And you feel for Jakobi Meyers. They're one of their most dependable players. They're not even in that game necessarily without a nice long catch from Jakobi Meyers late in that game. Same for Ramondre Stevenson. You're not in that game without Ramondre Stevenson. And yet, situational football, whether it's at the ends of halves or the ends of a game, as it was yesterday, the Patriots are having a lot of issues.
Yeah, they have all season long, and it's disheartening because those are 2 of the best players, and that were involved in that last play that is going to go down maybe as one of the worst plays in the history of football, which a lot of people are saying. But Jakobi Meyers, I will say this about the players. My feeling is they're not in that situation hardly ever. Very, very rarely are they. And there's really an explanation, 2 things to maybe explain what happened there. Is usually either the players don't know or they don't care. And I just don't think Ramondre Stevenson and Jakobi don't care. I think they care very much. I don't think the players knew exactly what that situation called for and not to be loose with the ball like they were. They should have known better, but still, they could have been told that and coached that, I think, a little bit better too, Phil.
Maybe a reminder in the huddle. I asked Hunter Henry about that at the time. He said, hey, that's on me. I'm a veteran guy. Maybe we should have been more clear about that.
Coaches got to alert the players to that as well, too.
Another maybe a little bit of a miscommunication for the Patriots offense, one of many we've seen thus far this season. Of course, the Patriots would never have been in that situation to lose on the final play of regulation if their defense had just held up just a little longer against Derek Carr and the Raiders offense. For the first 28 minutes of the second half, it was total domination by the Patriots D. But after the 2-minute warning, Carr had a perfect passer rating highlighted by a perfect throw to Keelan Cole. And that's where we begin with our first breakdown. Out here for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Ted, after that 2-minute warning, it just all fell apart for the Patriots defense. We're going to talk about the game-tying touchdown for Keelan Cole, back corner of the end zone review. We know how it ended up working out for the Patriots, but let's break this one down. You have GTFB written at the top of the board. Can you safely explain what that means to us here?
Sure. It's an acronym that we're all familiar with who play football. Which it means get the heck back, okay? Get back, all right? It was 2nd and 10. The Patriots are up 24-17, 37 seconds to go. Do not give up the big play. And my man, Marcus Jones over here, didn't get the memo to get the heck back, all right? So here's what happens. This was a backbreaker of a play. Of course, we know the following big play is the one that killed him, but this one was a tough one to swallow. Okay, so the Patriots are going to play cover 4, all right, 4 deep. And this is what the Patriots, the coverage teams like to do when they don't want to give up the big play. They were conscious of that the entire game, okay? But they're also conscious of where is their number 1 wide receiver, Davante Adams. Davante Adams is lined up to the right side of the formation on this play, and that gets the attention of Devin McCourty and Adrian Phillips over here with Jonathan Jones. Okay? Miles Bryant, Marcus Jones, they're left to their own devices a little bit on the backside, but that's okay. These are good players back here, and they're playing, I think, a coverage that should have been able to take care of this. They have trips to the left side. They run an all-go with Keelan Cole out here on the outside, an all-go. Inside receiver, slot receiver runs an all-go on Miles Bryant. This tight end, he runs kind of up and into the middle to occupy the linebacker right here. What this does, this tight end kind of coming up into the middle, it occupies Adrian Phillips' attention for just a little bit. I don't think he would have been a factor on the play, but nonetheless, still a good play design, okay? This play right here is a very difficult one to defend because Derek Carr threw a dime. This was a perfect throw to the back part of the end zone right here. Here's the problem. Marcus Jones, he is so dang fast. I think he opened up a little bit too late, and that gave Keelan Cole an opportunity to get by him and get a step or two on Marcus Jones, okay? Here's the thing. Marcus Jones has got unbelievable makeup speed, and he is what they say out of phase. When the wide receiver runs right on by him, he is out of phase, but he has makeup speed to get back into phase, if you will. Here's the thing. The ball was thrown so perfectly to the wide receiver, Marcus Jones, who was only 5'8", Keelan Cole, the wide receiver, who was 6'1". That length and his ability to jump was just too much for Marcus Jones to make a play. It's very difficult to defend the perfect throw, and it was to a taller receiver in a tough situation. Made a great catch. Some people say it wasn't a catch, but Derek Carr hit him perfectly. I thought the Patriots had the right coverage for that call, but unfortunately, we just weren't able to make a play.
You could tell Marcus Jones comfortable being out of phase because of his speed. Earlier in the game, he was out of phase with Devontae Adams, used that makeup speed to catch him and create an incompletion. Here, again, he makes up that ground. Right. He's in pretty good coverage, but the size difference there, just enough for Keelan Cole to reel in the score.
He does look back at the last second before the ball gets to him, and when you look back as a defender, you lose a little bit of that contact with the receiver, and that was enough, I think, to get the separation there to make the play for him.
Game of inches for the Patriots. Here's Devin McCourty talking about that play, which was heavily reviewed.
It looked like it could have went either way. It was, we were talking to the official out there, it was just tough, like it looked close, you know, so it wasn't like one of those plays that looked like it was egregious. Like, you could see that if you thought his toe was out, it could have been out, and you could see, like, if, you know, it was a chance that it was in. So just a tough play to come down at the end like that. I mean, he made a really good catch. Marcus was in good position, made a good play, just a better play offensively.
The Keelan Cole touchdown, what did the refs tell you, and did you agree with their decision?
Yeah, was there a pull report?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Bill Belichick, always a big fan of the pool reports. Ted, what'd you think of that call? Did they get it right?
I think at the end of the day they did, Phil, because I think if they called it a touchdown like they did in the game, then it's got to be clear and almost like 100% sure that he was out of bounds. And I don't think with the two angles, and everybody thinks I'm crazy to say, but with those two angles that they were offered, I don't think it was clear and conclusive that he was out of bounds. And so therefore you have to go with what the call was on the field, which was a touchdown.
I'm with you.
It's not, with you. You know, a lot of people aren't happy to hear that, but to me, that's what the rule is.
If you have to Zapruder film this thing and break it down on the internet, and we're still unsure 24 hours later, you probably have to go with what was called on the field. Let's talk a little bit more about this play with our Ted Neek. Ted Neek, of course, is presented by Shaw's, perfecting the art of fresh. And Ted, you wanted to get a little bit deeper into in phase and out of phase and how to handle that as a defensive back. So I'm going to be Keelan Cole, the receiver. I'm going to be on this side of our setup here, and you're going to be Marcus Jones, and you're going to break this down for us in phase, out of phase, when the receiver is behind you, when he's not, how to play it, because you do have to play it differently, right?
Yeah. So what they did a lot in the game against the Raiders was they had Marcus Jones and really a lot of the DBs playing deeper. So their alignment before the snap of the ball was deeper, right? And so they weren't up here getting jams trying to disrupt the route at the beginning of the route. They were saying, hey, get into the route fast. That's okay. We're going to make up for it later. Here's the thing. Marcus Jones does get beat, but he does make up with it. But what he should have done, so at the snap of the ball, the receiver's coming down, he doesn't open up. This receiver is not throttling down. He has to know this receiver is not throttling down, and so he's going to go maybe right on by him, and he has deep quarters. So he's got to open up, all right, and open up and then start running faster than he did. He opened up a little bit late, so the receiver gets by him, and once the receiver gets by him, okay, Marcus Jones, one of the fastest guys in the NFL, no problem. He's out of phase. When the guy gets a step or two on the defender, that's called out of phase. The defender now has to, quote, get back in phase. So as Marcus Jones is trying to get back in phase, he does a great job. He gets back up to the inside hip. What he does at the last second, he looks to see where the ball is. Don't get antsy, Marcus, because when you do that, that's when separation occurs, and that's when he's able to make the play. If he just would have kept his head down and ran, and when the hands go up, put your hands in the mesh point and knock the ball down, he would have been better off for it. He got a little bit anxious, looked back when he did that. That's when the separation happened. Again, it was a perfect throw and a great catch by the Raiders, though.
You're saying when you're in phase, it is okay to turn around, find the ball, try to play it like a receiver.
Correct.
But when you're out of phase, you have to just focus on the target itself and playing through the hands.
That's exactly right. So if I'm in phase and the guy's right here and I can feel it and I can look back, no problem. If he's out of phase, meaning you have a step or two, do not look back. He'll get even further distance from you.
Marcus Jones still was so tight in coverage there. It's just such a perfect throw. Difficult play for the rookie, and the height difference there, too. 5 inches can make a world of difference in a situation like that one. Great job, Ted. Coming up at 6:30, tune in for our Bella Early Edition with Trenny. I'll be there. Tom Curran and Tom Giles will be there as well. Take a guess at what we might be talking about tonight. You don't want to miss that. Still to come, Mac Jones probably wishing what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. A brutal day for the Patriots quarterback. We're breaking it all down right after this.
Yeah, I think we just got to score more points, and early, just a play is a play, and I didn't execute enough good plays today. So if you don't do that, then you're not going to score, and just a tough situation. Definitely falls on me, and got to be better, and I'm going to watch the tape and do what I always do and just try and get better. So tough deal, but just got to keep working.
Ted, really rough day for the Patriots quarterback there, Mac Jones. It just felt to me as though his accuracy, which is one of his signature traits, his accuracy just sort of abandoned him in this one.
It did. It just didn't seem like he was comfortable from the very beginning. His body was maybe sped up. He was kind of amped up, I feel like. And so he was, he just wasn't on point. And he's got to kind of promote this, or, kind of project this calm, cool, collected kind of attitude. And right now, he's not in that space. And you can tell his accuracy is suffering because of it.
Well, let's see what the grades looked like for Mac Jones and his teammates here. My report card is presented by the Massachusetts School of Law. As always, you can read about the reasoning behind these grades on NBCSportsBoston.com. Mac Jones in the offense having a tough day means some tough grades, obviously. I'm handing out D to Mac Jones for this week. Patriots had just one trip to the red zone and once again failed to punch it into the end zone. They are last in the league in red zone touchdown percentage. Yikes. That brings us to our next breakdown. It's time now for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Only 17 offensive points, Ted, against one of the worst defenses in football. This play that we're about to show, an incompletion on second down, second and goal from the 1 yard line, is one of the reasons why it was such a bad day offensively. What does MOBP mean? You have that written at the top.
Yeah, this is an acronym I learned early in my football career. It's missed opportunity for a big play. And that's really kind of what this play was right here. We all know the goal line sequence. It turned out it blew up in the Patriots' face. But this was a second down play right here. This is a play that you could have had. I mean, Mac Jones, he felt like he was, sped up. He just felt like he was amped early in the game. And this was early in the second quarter, and he flat out misses this pass. So what we have here on the 1 yard line is the Patriots are going to run a 2-man game over here. They run a 3-man game over here. The quarterback doesn't even look this way, which is fine because Jonnu Smith, who's playing in the slot right here, because perhaps maybe Hunter Henry was hurt, got poked in the eye. He might have been here instead. It wouldn't have mattered because the throw was not even close to being on target. But here's the thing for Mac Jones. When you're in the close in the red zone, within the 5 yard line, all the weak points in the end zone are in the back corners. That's where teams like to target, is in the back corner. And that's exactly what the Patriots are doing. It's set up perfectly for Jonnu Smith to catch this ball. You have the defender, Phil. He is lined up inside. Most defenders, when you're lined up that close to the goal line, cheat outside with to push them into the inside where your help is. This defender lined up inside, perfect for Jonnu Smith to get leverage. So at the snap of the ball, it's a really easy play for the quarterback. Snap the ball to the quarterback. He just takes one step, holds for a second, and you throw that baby to the back end zone here for what should have been an easy catch. So Jonnu Smith runs a two-man game here, up into the corner right here. This DB, who's got inside leverage, stupidly, he falls down, and here's Jonnu Smith wide open. On the outside receiver does an in cut right here, but Jonnu Smith ball snap 1-2, throw it back in the end zone. Jonnu Smith was right there. The ball was thrown in the outside the end zone right there, and that is a missed opportunity for a big play. Mac Jones all day, particularly early, Phil. He looked like he just wasn't in rhythm. He was amped up, and that was a play on that series. They came away with 3 points. They really should have had 7.
Bad offensive football, bad situational football. That's unfortunately just what the Patriots are right now. Last in the league in red zone percentage. That play on second down, one of the reasons why they weren't better on Sunday. They say the numbers never lie. These numbers are presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks built Ford tough. Here's what Mac Jones did Sunday when attempting passes beyond the line of scrimmage. Between the numbers, pretty good. 6 for 10 for more than 100 yards, but beyond the line of scrimmage and outside the numbers, like that incompletion we just talked about to Jonnu Smith, Jones was 0 for 11, which brings us to the Monday Night Spotlight presented by the Oakers Company, proud sponsor of the New England Patriots. Ted, situational football, this is something that the Patriots hammer, and we watch it all training camp long. When we get to watch their full practices, it's always red zone or third down, end of half, end of game. This has to make it especially frustrating to Bill Belichick and to the players themselves who are putting that work in, that they can't execute in these moments.
It's shocking. It's shocking. I mean, you talk about the original OG is Bill Belichick when it comes to situational football. I'd never heard the term until I met Bill Belichick, and we were the best at it when I played for the Patriots long time ago. These guys, it's unbelievable how inept they are in these types of situations. And it's got to be frustrating to Bill because they work on these situations time and time again. And for them to not get it after 14 weeks, I don't know. As a coach, you're not sure what you can do to maybe make it better.
A little bit has to go to everybody, right? There's enough blame to go around. But when you look at yesterday's game in particular, and let's just talk about that red zone trip where you have the miss to Jonnu Smith, but you also have a timeout coming from the sideline that negates a touchdown to Jakobi Meyers. You have a false start on Jonnu Smith. Should the quarterback have held the ball and waited for him to get lined up? Should everybody have hustled to the line to get lined up because it's a quarterback sneak? You're trying to catch people off guard. Where do you lay the blame for yesterday's situational football misfires?
You know, I think it all starts with the collective confidence is not there for this football team, and particularly on the offensive side of the football. And so you can really kind of trace the problems now way back into the summer. Phil, I mean, it's amazing. We are talking about the same problems with this offense, the negative plays, just the issues in situationally, the 2-minute drill, the red zone. These have been problems all the way going back to preseason. They are still a problem now, and that is the most shocking thing. Teams usually, and Bill Belichick teams get better as the season goes on. This team is getting worse, and it started off in a bad place.
Especially with an offense that has players that have now been in the offense, been on the team for multiple years now. You would think in those situations, so many practices under their belts, under Bill Belichick, that they would have those situations down. All right, Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Catch another edition of Quick Slants. Tom Kern will be joined by Kay Adams. It's presented by your local New England Honda dealers. Plenty for them to discuss. Up next, we're not done. The hits just keep on coming for the Patriots after their disaster in Vegas. What exactly happened on that blocked punt at the end of the first half? Remember that? We're sorting things out when the breakdown returns.
Yeah, we had a little bit of miscommunication with the clock. And the play clock was winding down. In that situation, we want to bleed the clock. Then they bumped the clock. So, that's unfortunate, the way that happened. You wish they would have bumped the clock sooner. But, Joe's thinking, I got to go. The communication was a little bit delayed because of the tardiness of the bumping of the clock. And, it sucks.
That right there, Ted, is about as close as you'll ever get to hearing Matthew Slater complain about the officiating, which is essentially what that was. And when he says bump the clock, he means reset the play clock. So it's the end of the first half. The Patriots are just trying to drain away the clock so the Raiders don't have an opportunity to get the ball, come down, and score. And they did get that reset clock eventually. I talked to Jabril Peppers after the game about this as well. But it came so late that the one guy with the ball who generally speaking has his head between his legs, Joe Cardona, didn't see the clock get reset. He thinks time's running out. He doesn't want a penalty. He snaps the ball while everyone else is relaxed because they saw the clock reset and they thought they had time to burn.
Yikes, yikes. I hear Matthew.
How do you
Slater.
avoid that? You've been on the punt team before.
I have many times. Here's the thing, the up back. You know, it was Adrian Phillips. It was, for me, when I was playing a lot for most of my career, it was Larry Izzo, the guy that's kind of the personal protector, all right? The guy that's in front of the punter. He's the one that sees the surveys, gets them into the different line checks. You know, Adrian Phillips, if it's him or for Jabril Peppers, they need to say to Joe, hold. You do not want that long snapper to be snapping the ball. I mean, he's got his head down. It's hard for him to see the clock. Although he can see it, he's got his head between his legs. He needs to hear what the cues are from that personal protector. I don't think that was communicated to Joe, and he snapped the ball. And that play was a killer.
It gets back to our situational football discussion, right? Again, end of halves. This feels like the last month or so, Ted. Yeah. The ends of the first halves have been issues for the Patriots.
Yeah, just you know, Matthew Slater saying, "Hey, it was the clock." I'm sure the clock did screw him up, but you have things in place to kind of counter what was going on, and they didn't execute it for whatever reason, and it's been a problem all season long, and it's ugly.
Short week to try to get things turned around. They've got a great Bengals team coming to Foxborough on Saturday, Christmas Eve. Ted and I will be right here breaking it all down on Monday. We'll see you then.